Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Black House Podcast. This podcast is essentially me and two of my best friends having the conversations we normally have about the things that matter to us and that are going on in the world. And we thought that maybe other people could get something good out of the conversations that we have. I'm your host, TJakks World. I have my co-host here, Black Politech, aka BP.
It's goody.
And my other co-host, the man 100 grand of many names known around the world, KDot.
Yes, sir.
All right, and let's roll into it. We're gonna roll into a serious but fun but serious topic, which is COVID-19 vaccine conspiracy theory. So I'm gonna tee it up, and then I'm gonna have you guys say what your kind of perspectives on this is, and we'll get the dialogue rolling. So, as COVID-19 vaccine preparation has been ramping up, you've also seen the fear around vaccines ramping up as well, which there is legitimate fear associated with it. The usage of people of color in the medical field as test rats or guinea pigs, and also the unprecedented speed for which they've come up with these vaccines, which typically they do, trial, then distribution. In this case, they're doing trial and trial and production at the same time. And so people are scared of the vaccine. Some people are, some people aren't. But some of the reasons that people are scared of the vaccines have nothing to do with the medical field or the history of black people in medicine, but more to do with conspiracy theories. And so we got a couple conspiracy theories here. The first one kind of took me out a little bit. It was that you can't take the COVID-19 vaccine because it contains baby fetuses. Right.
Baby,
so I'm guessing they said, hey, guys, we need X number of baby fetuses to finish the COVID vaccine, and somehow regular people got wind of this nefarious plot and are trying to warn others.
That's crazy. I heard a lot of stuff. Were we hearing 5G earlier? That was causing COVID.
So we supposed to comment on that?
Yes, sir. Comment on that. I mean,
yeah, that's just stupid. That's just straight stupid. I mean, that's like, come on now. Like,
I mean, but
the
you don't know what's in the vaccine.
the vaccine itself is a baby fetus. Why? Put it in a blender and liquefy it and and try to give it to you intravenously. Like, that doesn't make no sense. Who would let's just walk through that. The vaccine is baby fetuses because what? Like, baby fetuses is not a means to cure any virus, as far as I'm concerned. Like, that's never been a means of vaccinating somebody. So if you're saying that it's baby fetuses, like, what are you saying their objective is? To put kids intravenously inside people?
I mean, maybe they're just an evil corporation and they're forcing it on us.
Right.
For this, just for the lows.
Maybe these baby fetuses have a particular RNA in them, and they will mutate us humans into slaves or something.
Speaking of conspiracy theories, that's our next conspiracy theory. The COVID-19 vaccine will mutate your DNA.
Okay.
You don't want that. You don't want that happening to you.
Could happen. Mutations happen all the time.
So, I mean, I could see some. I mean, they've looked at something that said that it was science. And it's and I mean, I don't know, mutate your DNA. I think fundamentally, at least with that vaccine theory, you don't know what a vaccine is. Like, I just don't think you know what a vaccine is. And I watched this one anime, Cells at Work, and they have a whole episode where they explain what a vaccine is through a nice little.
I actually watched a couple episodes of that. It's kind of interesting.
It's really good. It's really good.
I didn't stay, but I watched a couple. It was valid.
They actually use it in Japan for some of their like health classes because it's so good at explaining certain health conditions. But you might like there's another version called Cells at Work Black, or Code Black, which is the same type of story, except instead of having a healthy body, it's an unhealthy body. And you see all the things that happen in the bodies for someone who like does a lot of drinking, has pattern baldness, kidney stones, ED. Like it's pretty interesting.
That's what's up.
But fundamentally, you got to not understand what a vaccine is to think that it changes or mutates your DNA. Or maybe you just think the people behind it want to mutate your DNA for whatever reason.
Yeah. I think, yeah. I mean, there's definitely like a clear misunderstanding. I'm like, literally, like, if you want to know vaccines, you can just literally go back to like a 9th grade health class or like a 9th grade intro to biology class that was like required for you to graduate and learn what a freaking vaccine is. I'm like, you could literally like Google it, watch a 2-minute, 3-minute YouTube video from a health organization, not from your mans who got an invite on Facebook Messenger talking about they're going to give you the truth about what vaccine. No, not somebody who I seen the other day, not somebody who I seen literally today, freaking talking about they doing a ticketed event, a ticketed webinar event that they charging people for, talking about, I'm going to tell you the truth about the vaccine. Come on now. Ain't no medical professional charging you to tell you about vaccines.
Wait, I need to give you the counter argument. We don't do one-sidedness on this show, okay? So the counter argument is, how can you trust what they tell you in the science books just because they're science books? You didn't do the research, so how do you know it's true?
So I mean, let's just think about where what conspiracies in general stem from. They stem from fear, distrust, right? And in this situation, in terms of vaccinations, in terms of healing illnesses, what have you, we as Black people, I don't know if this conspiracy is specifically for Black people, but Black people have a reasonable fear for vaccines or anything in a medical environment, because as you were mentioning, there have been in our history, in American history, they have tested these vaccinations on Black people. We go back to the Tuskegee experiment. That is, to me, whenever I see these conspiracies, that is the number one thing that they always tie it back to. We can't trust the doctors. We can't trust the government. So conspiracies are reasonable in that context. But also, if these vaccinations actually work as much as they say we do, as much as they say that they do, which I've seen 90%, vaccine the numbers hovering in that range, then think about how this could double back on us, on our community, if we don't get these vaccinations because we keep floating around these conspiracy theories.
Especially when you look at the Black people, the mortality rate of Black people who catch COVID versus the mortality rate of white people who catch COVID. So while we sitting here like, when it was, Black people didn't get it, it was like, no, we got it, and we got it the worst.
Yeah, right. So, and I'm looking on Facebook. I'm looking on Twitter. I'm looking on Instagram. Did you get the vaccine? Did you get the vaccine? I'm seeing on what was that Instagram? What was that page that we were talking about earlier?
Shade Room?
The Shade Room. I'm sure they posted, there was something circulating where someone in like Michigan took the vaccination and they were like, after they took the vaccination, they were like stuttering and like looking all weird and shit. Like for real, like this, we just gonna make fun of all this shit. We don't get fucked, bruh. In the comments, I'm not taking that shit. I'm never taking that shit. Oh, it's 2 shots, not 1. I'm definitely not taking that shit. So it's a lot of fear going on, bruh.
let me. I'm gonna do one more conspiracy theory, and then I'm gonna chime in with a little bit of my own commentary on that. So the next conspiracy theory is probably the most well-known conspiracy theory for the COVID-19 vaccine, and that is Bill Gates, since he funded some of the money behind the vaccines, has put microchips inside the vaccine so that he can watch you and track you and know when you're peeing, know when you're masturbating, know when you're working out. He put the microchip in the vaccine, and you're going to take that vaccine. You're going to have a microchip in you by Bill Gates.
I mean, privacy issues are a real thing right now. I'm just saying.
I don't know if that's stupider or the fetuses is stupider. I really don't. I mean,
because Keith, what if you put a very small chip inside of the vaccine?
No,
it can't. No, you don't know how big those needles are. They can put something in there, man.
No. So there are micro robots that you can actually that are small enough for you to inject into somebody because they're testing that as like cancer treatment, and it's been kind of working for people so far. So that's real, but like. The idea that it was Bill Gates is his plan, even though the pandemic is affecting everybody worldwide. Not one of those companies that created the vaccine is owned or operated by Bill Gates. Somehow he manufactured this so he could inject us with it. Really? So Bill Gates could inject us with it. The whole world. Unleash the virus. The whole point of the vaccine is just for Bill Gates. Even though it's like 20 different companies working on vaccines, it's Bill Gates. His master plan to inject the whole world. Come on. I'm watching
the programs on this show.
The FBI the CIA will do some crazy shit, bro. I'm telling you.
They will, but not Bill Gates.
Yeah. So I think there are a few things here, right? So, or even on your CIA thing, I think. Don't get me wrong. I do think that the government has a lot of ability to do a lot of different things that we don't know about. However, I think the breadth of things that we don't know about that we believe that they can do is a lot smaller than we actually believe that it is. Yeah. And because partially, again, these are government agencies. When have you known the government of the United States to run efficiently and effectively? Not often. And even when they do it simplistically. So, I mean, honestly, it's much easier, and it's a slight tangent, but it's much easier to just get a BS search warrant and break down somebody's door or do a no-knock warrant on the quote-unquote wrong house to search somebody's home than it is to put some type of secret microchip or microphone in your body or in your house so that they can monitor everything you do. It's so much the same thing with hitmen. So people are like, oh yeah, hitman, somebody could be lurking behind somewhere and they're going to get they're going to strangle me or poison me. Almost every hitman you've ever seen just walks up to someone, shoots them, then walks away. Because that's the simplest way to be a hitman. All the other sneaky stuff, yeah, it's kind of cool and it's in our memories or our minds or whatever, but that's not what people actually do. People usually go for the simplest thing possible because it's the easiest thing, and especially if it's the government, they know they can get away with it. So that's a slight tangent. Back on the vaccine stuff, when you look at you're right, KDot. When you look, it's gonna give me. I need a while to get used to it. When you look at distrust in the medical field when it comes to African Americans, that's right. Tuskegee experiment. They decided to see how many stages are there to this particular disease. I believe it was syphilis. How far does it go? What happens at each stage? Yada yada. While telling the people, oh, we're actually vaccinating you against syphilis, and you're actually not getting it. So those are really, really true fears, and they manifest in different ways. Yeah. However, it's important to understand where our medicine is today and how we normally do things today, because that did happen in the past, and that is cause for concern. But it also just means that you need to do your research, and partially it's a loss of trust in the research that we can find. We don't believe these people who say the things that they say, but the reasons we don't believe them are purely idiotic. I don't believe it because I didn't see it, right? That's not a reason not to believe something. That's a reason to question something.
Yep.
That's a reason to do your own study or your own research. But to say that you flat out don't believe it because you haven't seen it is ridiculous. I've never seen a volcano in person. So am I going to say that volcanoes don't exist? That's idiotic. There's plenty of evidence that they exist, but I haven't seen one in person to know that it exists per se. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Again, and this gets to my... And I mean, look, and this gets to my other thing, right? About, I didn't see it, so it didn't happen. Everyone has what I like to coin as superhero syndrome or main character syndrome. Everyone believes they're the main character. You're pushing the plot. Your observation is what creates reality. And it ain't true. Right? I'm not going to get the vaccine because I don't want them to microchip me. Bro, who wants to microchip you? What about you is so important that I want to spend millions of dollars to potentially microchip you and maybe not even do it because you don't trust me?
Right.
You're not that important. And it's not to say, look, I'm sure that you're important to people who love you. I'm sure you're important to people at your job. I'm sure you're important to people at school. But you're not important enough for a multi-billion-dollar conspiracy to be pointed directly at you. You simply aren't.
Or
and it's
directly at Americans.
Or directly at Americans who are dumb enough to harm themselves without all of that extra money thrown behind it. I mean, you're talking about the vaccine might kill you. Sir, you drink every night before you go to bed.
Exactly.
You will have cirrhosis of the liver by the time you are 40. You're like, you've been smoking a pack a day since you were 18. You will likely have lung cancer, and if not, you just have some other health issues. Americans do a fine job, and especially Black Americans, because of the systemic infrastructure that already exists against us, do a fine job of harming themselves by themselves every day. As a matter of fact, if there were no rules or law, we just tear each other apart. And you see, even though we have rules and laws, people still tear each other apart. Yep. So it's not like we need a vaccine to come and destroy us. Right. There are other things that are already... I mean, bruh, we can't... There's no health care in America, right? You have to pay thousands of dollars for good health care in America, for good health insurance. 60,000 people a year die from poverty. Mm-hmm. Poverty. Yeah. Straight up. From being too poor. Right. We don't need the vaccine to take people out.
Right.
We simply don't. 500,000, or I think this year was 500,000 people died from cancer. 300,000 something died from cardiac.
Yeah, heart disease is like the number one killer.
So we don't need a vaccine. The vaccine is going to kill, if it kills anybody, right? A significantly negligible percentage of Americans compared to everything else that could possibly kill us. So that is to say, it's like a logic thing. Yes, the vaccines might be dangerous, but compared to all the other dangerous things that you consume on a daily basis and are a part of on a daily basis, it's really negligible.
Yeah, I mean, freaking, like, I mean, even right now, I'm like, just given like the mortality rate, and I use mortality rate lightly, like of the vaccine, you literally, lightning strikes are more likely to kill you than that vaccine is likely to kill you. Statistically right now, based on the number of vaccines administered. Not to mention, you're probably like 100, 2,000 times more likely to die from getting in the car in the next hour than you are from that vaccine.
Yeah.
Literally.
And then the same, and now this is the one that kills me. In the same breath, somebody will tell you, oh, I'm not getting the COVID vaccine because it's dangerous, it might kill me. But then they tell you, oh, but I'm going to go out tonight because COVID is only killing 4% of Americans, so I'm likely not going to die from COVID.
Yep. What? Yep. Literally.
COVID's not dangerous because it's only killed 4% of Americans, which is literally 400,000 people.
It's the same people.
The vaccine's dangerous because you don't know what's in it. Oh, my God.
Yep.
Come on now.
Literally, in the same conversation, they will go from, "Oh, I'm not getting the vaccine because they want to microchip us," But what's it called? That number they talking about, all the people died. The vaccine really ain't, the COVID ain't really no different than the flu. Da, 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 da.
Yep.
And then go from, they really put COVID here to kill black
See how it
people.
evolves?
Yes.
There's always that skepticism.
Like, bro, you got you got to go one way or the other. You can't go both ways. It's like you can't be out here believing two opposite things and then still thinking that you're right.
Right.
Like, nah.
Yeah.
And then it'd be those same people that follow up with do your research. I'm like, what research have you done? Like,
Right.
The only people who say do your research have done none.
Done nothing. That's, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's roll over to our next topic, the STEMI. The STEMI. So I'm gonna just give a little bit of context on this one again. So today they passed the power sharing agreement, which has transferred power over to the Democrats for the committees that are in the Senate. Actually, I think it's in the House too. Because no, they passed it in the Senate. They're going to send it back to the House because they had some amendments. Then the House is going to pass it as well. So the Democrats are going to be heading the committees that they're supposed to be heading as of winning the or having the majority in the House or in the Congress. And so now they have the option to do budget reconciliation. Now, for those of you that do not know what reconciliation is, it is a power within the budget committee in the Senate where they can reappropriate money that's already been legislated previously. Well, that's legislated previously. The Republicans did this when they passed the tax cuts for the wealthy. When they got the majority a few years back, they used the budget reconciliation ability so that way that they could pass the tax cuts and essentially reappropriate that money. In this case, they're going to use budget reconciliation to pass the $1.9 trillion stimulus bill, which is supposed to have, I think, the extended unemployment $1,400 stimulus, allegedly $15 minimum wage, and a few other important things that that would help vaccine rollout, money for states against COVID-19. So on and so forth.
Yeah,
so,
I think support for schools and stuff too.
Yeah. So, I want to open up by saying they lied.
Yeah.
I heard in the Georgia elections that we were going to get a $2,000 stimulus check on the first day. That's what I heard. I heard as soon as Democrats get in power, day one, we're going to get $2,000. Now, they have said in this stimulus bill, oh, no. You're going to get $1,400. We already gave you $600. So it's $2,000 combined dollars. You know, you got the $600, now you're going to get the 14, so $2,000. Which means that, you know, actually this is not a, you know, this is a $3,200 stimulus check because I got $1,200 last year. So they gave me a $3,200 stimulus check. Oh my God, that's amazing. What do you think? I want to get you guys' opinion on this because they're really not even stimulus checks; they're survival checks. Do you think this is going to hurt politically Democrats for saying $2,000 and then going, "We meant $1,400"? Or does it not matter? People just want money.
I just want to say, like, and I don't use this in reference to anybody's sexuality, but that was some real hoe behavior of them.
Hoe behavior.
That was some real hoe behavior. Like they literally, explicitly, firmly stated of their own accord, a vote. You literally of your own accord vote for the Democrats in Georgia, and we getting $2,000 checks first week. That was the ad. That was the quotes. That was them, right? $2,000 stimulus checks first week, guaranteed. Getting them. That's what they said. Now I know if a company ran an ad like Red Bull, when they used to say it gives you wings, and they had a class action lawsuit because people found out it didn't actually give you wings. They won that case because that was fraud. Now in this case, we would call that fraud, because that was some real hoe behavior, And then and to see them, go ahead.
Fun fact, real quick. There was a woman who sued General Mills, who had been eating Captain Crunch for like 20 or 15 years, because it didn't contain real berries. And she believed that there were real berries in Captain Crunch berries. And she sued General Mills. She lost that lawsuit. But just...
yeah. So yeah. And then they double backed and said, try to act like, oh, we always meant a total cumulative sum of 2,000. But I'm like, but then it went from, okay, cumulative sum, but I'm like, you still said the first week. And now we're into the second month of the new year. So, I don't know what y'all talking about. Like, y'all was clearly lying. And, not to mention, they're saying, it's rumors that they're going to further means test the stimulus check. Meaning that they're going to further restrict the amount of people who are actually eligible to get it. So, yeah, that was just some real whole behavior.
Can you speak specifically about that portion, just in case people don't know what you mean?
Yeah, so means test literally is like when they say, oh, only people in a certain income bracket will get whatever this resource is. Or this bill will only apply to this group of people. That's usually what happens when they're talking about means testing. And
just as a juxtaposition, they do not do means testing in Canada. Everyone just gets the $2,000 a month since the pandemic has started. Whereas we for this bill coming up, Canadian dollars for the bill coming up, and I think they're 71 cents to $1 American. The bill coming up is going to start phasing out at $75,000. If you make less than that, you'll get some stimulus, but it will be reduced upwards on the way up the income bracket. But they're also talking about bringing down that threshold from $75,000 to $50,000, and at $50,000 you would get zero stimulus, zero survival check.
Yeah. No, it would phase out.
No, they said zero.
For real?
That's what they're advocating for.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. So, and that's
in.
They said phase out at zero, but it's literally zero at 50,000.
Yeah, and just to finish to like your last specific question around like, do I think that's going to impact their chances? Yes. I'm like, I literally dragged all these people out because $2,000 checks, and now to just tell everybody, oh, we was lying. We was lying on the time and the amount. Come on. I mean, you literally part of the reason there is a lack of voter participation is because they know the politicians be lying, especially when it comes to black people. And now y'all gonna sit here and lie on something that literally even Trump wanted to do. Come on now.
Well, I've seen mixed responses. So I've seen some people who say, okay, yeah, you definitely said 2,000, I want 2,000. Other people who are like, well, I guess it was kind of ambiguous, so I just want whatever you'll give.
It was definitely ambiguous.
So what do you think?
Purposely ambiguous. No, it was purposely ambiguous. And I've already shared with y'all the person that I watched for stimulus news, and he literally gets on, and he makes a video every single day about this stuff. So yeah, it was purposely ambiguous, and he was saying he didn't know, you just couldn't. Yes, they were trying to make it seem like they was giving us $2,000 in addition to that $600 that they had just got. But I think it was ignorant for people to think that, because they already had dragged out that most recent stimulus check number 2, Stimmy 2, from what, May, June, and that was initially supposed to be like another $1,400 or something, or $1,200, and they pushed that. And it shrunk down to $600. And Trump wanted the $1,200 back then too. But the thing that I am hearing the most about the most pushback is
also just to let anybody know who's listening. None of us here endorse any particular political candidates. Our opinions are our own.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I got some people I rock with now. We can talk about that later. It's only a few.
Yeah, so I think it was ignorant for people to think that they got people on the ballots, or they got people to vote for the ballots. That was like candy. That was like dangling like carrots to these people. And
I mean,
they took it. They
but
took
the
it.
real question is, will people, if they do pass in a couple of weeks a $1,400 stimmy, will people care?
Yeah, they're gonna care, and they're gonna shut up too. just like when that 600 stimmy dropped, people was like, oh, it's money.
I don't think people will care to the point where like it drags on. Like I don't think it'll be a continued conversation for most people, especially people that's not like really like in the political sphere. But I think though it only work to continue people who were like distrust what politicians say. Because regardless if it's just like, okay, you said $20 but gave me 18, it's like I already expected you to be lying.
Yeah.
And now you like further show that it might be something of what you say, but I can't trust all of what you say.
Fits the stereotype.
So it's like you only further perpetuated that. Now if they would have did that and actually did it the first week, people would have began, even if only a little bit, whether 1-2%, people would have began and trusted them more. And also,
what was they
I
promising the first week? The first week of what?
They literally promised. They promised
of Biden's
first week
presidency.
Yes, first week.
That's it's impossible.
First week.
It doesn't even move that quick.
Nah, I mean, so yeah, but like again, if it's impossible, why would you promise that? As a politician who was supposed to be responsible and honest and represent their electorate, why would you publicly, repeatedly, in paid commercials and ads, lie and say,
don't want the truth,
bruh. Stimulus check. In response to like people being ignorant for believing that, I don't really support that, because at the end of the day, like if they're ignorant for believing it, I could then double back and say they should have been smart to not vote because it was a lie. You see what I'm saying?
So what I'm gonna say in terms of why they would say that, I think it's two reasons. One is optics. It sounds better to say, we're going to give you this money the first week we're in office versus we're going to give you this money as soon as possible. Those don't sound the same. One of them sounds stronger than the other one. And then the second thing is, why do they lie in their ads, on TV and all of that? They lie because it's legal. If anyone didn't know this, it is legal to lie in political ads. You can put lies in political ads. There is no regulation against that. So they lie because it's legal. Well, not all politicians, but most politicians lie because it's legal. Yeah. So those two things. Legality and optics.
Yeah, so I don't really blame people, the few people who had trust in the government, like, Biden and their administration. Like, I don't blame them, because like it's not their fault they trusted in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should be able to trust your politicians, people that's running. But
no question.
What it is.
No question.
So let's talk about also this $15 minimum wage that may or may not go into the bill. Some people are arguing that it is not related to COVID whatsoever. Some Democrats are arguing that, while others are saying they want it in. Primary champion there, Bernie Sanders, trying to get that in the bill and through. And I know, KDot, you had some news earlier about what Kroger thought about that, or what Kroger was saying in regards to that.
The grocery chain Kroger was basically saying that if the federal government was to adopt that $15 minimum wage bill, then they would have to close 100 of their stores nationwide, and there would be essentially, it would come to a point where they're not the only person saying that. Like, there are a whole bunch of other small businesses that are saying the same stuff, and I guess it comes down to the line of whether more people would benefit or more people would, consider a relatively, the same amount of people would not benefit. Like people would lose their jobs. Would unemployment go up? And then there is also like this organization in California that's essentially like that represents like most of the grocery stores in California, and they were saying, yeah, they're not lying. Like this is also the sentiment of other grocery chains, in California.
Right.
So yeah.
So, I'm trying to look up because I think that's like that's funny that Kroger is really saying that, because like my natural instinct is like close. I ain't the only grocery store.
It's a lot of competition.
At the end of the day, I ain't the only grocery store closing.
It's a lot of
You
competition.
know what I'm saying? Like if you're like, I would rather not pay them a decent wage, close. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel, to be honest.
Yeah. And let's just get something straight with the $15 minimum wage. The $15 minimum wage would be considered a living wage. That is enough money so that you can pay your bills and eat. Not necessarily to go out doing, what the Kardashians do every night.
Yeah.
You would just have enough money to pay your bills, eat, and get to the next day. That's what $15 an hour would do for the average American in the country. And the wages in the country have not adjusted to inflation for 40 years. So the wages that we are being paid today are equivalent to the wages from 40 years ago on average. And the production has tripled in 40 years. So we're producing more than we've ever produced. We're grossing more than we've ever grossed. But people are earning the same amount that they were earning 40 years ago.
Exactly. And I mean, $15 an hour, that like, with taxes, that's like 31 something thousand a year.
Yeah.
Literally 31 something thousand a year. So I'm like, it ain't like people even getting rich off of that. So
yeah. BP, and I totally agree with your sentiment of, if you can't pay your workers a living wage, then close. Yeah. Why? It means you're running a bad business model. We're supposed to be assuming that these people who own small businesses can run a business. And if you can't run your business without working your employees for scraps, you might have a bad business model. Yeah. Oh, I can only pay my employees $6 an hour because if I pay them more,
we're not going to get our bonuses.
Out of business.
Facts. And even to
get our bonuses.
Facts. And even to give added context, the poverty line in the U.S. for a 4-family household is $26,200 a year. That $15 minimum wage is only going to put you at about $3,100 a year. That's a $5,000 difference. Yep. That's it. You $5,000 above
from the poverty line.
Above the poverty line. Like, so you really it's really nothing. It ain't even progressive.
At that amount of money, you can't even afford. You can afford to eat and pay your bills, but you can't afford health insurance.
Nope.
Dental insurance.
Nope.
Eye insurance. Vision insurance. I think that's what's called. You'd still be at a lower place even with that $15 an hour. Adjusted for inflation would be $24 an hour. If we adjust it for inflation from back then to right now, it would be $24 an hour. That is what the minimum wage should be. The $15 is a living wage. So, in this case with Kroger, they're saying, we got to close 100 stores. Close your 100 stores because 100 other stores are going to pop up. And, you hear the criticism that, if you jump to $15, then all of these, businesses are going to stop investing and they're going to go out of business, not going to do anything. So you're telling me that people are going to stop trying to make money because they have to pay their employees more? That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound like the American capitalist society I know. People are going to automatically just say, I don't want to make money anymore because I got to pay my employees a living wage. I think that's total BS. I think people are still going to try to make money. People are still going to open businesses. They're going to change their business models to be more efficient. And maybe they do have less employees, but maybe you have more businesses. Yeah. And they've all, I believe a study did come out saying that if a $15 minimum wage was adopted, there would be a I can't remember the exact number, so I don't want to lie, but there would be a significant increase in the economic wealth in the United States. So it would add to the economy to increase the minimum wage to $15, essentially.
Also, for added context, their operating profit for 2020 was $4 billion.
That's what I'm saying. They dishing out bonuses, man. They don't want to stop dishing out the bonuses.
Not to mention, their tax rate was 23%, which is 10% lower than the average tax rate of their employees. So,
and likely the 23 wasn't their effective tax rate.
Right. I
Their
mean,
effective was somewhere near 10, probably.
Right, and so this is what they put in their like investment summary for the year. So, but yeah, I mean, we know how
That's
they
why
really
we
get
have
down.
Black Politech here, because he's got all the numbers.
No bullshit. I didn't even know they was public.
Yeah.
But
it's only because like I believe at this stage you can buy stock in them, so that's why they publish this. If they were like privately listed, you would never see this.
Speaking of stocks, let's go a tad bit off script, because actually this was on my mind. So, what's up with GameStop? The hedge funds tried to play their game of shorting against GameStop and a couple other businesses. Reddit came through and said, we're gonna buy and hold, and we're gonna mess up your entire shorting there, or your entire strategy to short against these companies.
damn.
I'm gonna pose a question here. Is it right or ethical, or does it not matter because it's a free for all anyway? For the Redditors to play the same game that the hedge funds were playing and manipulating the stock prices.
Stock market has no rules. There are no rules in the stock market.
I mean, so
It does not
that's
abide
why,
by
like,
the rules of physics.
I think their whole thing is like it's funny because they really wanted to paint it as like, oh my god, like they manipulating the stock prices. I'm like, stock price is not like they would love to be like, oh, the stock price is directly reflects the value of the company. I'm like, get out of here. That's a lie. That's a lie. Every stock literally is value is determined by how hype it is and how excited investors are, and that's it. It's not like stocks are like an X percentage of somebody's equity. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about how much are people willing to pay for a portion of this company, and that's it. So it was like, I'm like, it literally was already speculative and already based on whatever you thought about it, not tied to their actual income, revenue, none of that. So I'm like, they lying. I'm like, and y'all know this. So I'm like, don't act like, oh, they manipulated it. I'm like, well, y'all manipulated it.
So you wouldn't
in
call what
any
the
stock.
Redditors are doing manipulation?
No.
Essentially.
I'm like, literally, all the stocks is speculative. I mean, it really is. Unless you're doing some private equity-based investment, it is never a direct reflection of the value of the company.
So do you think there should be, and this is to you as well, KDot, because you were talking about how there are no rules in the stock market. Do you think there should be some regulatory controls on speculation?
No.
just on like how you can participate in the stock market.
Right. So should people essentially be allowed to say, I think this company is going to fail and I'm going to bet against it, and that affects the price of the actual the worth the value of the actual company? Should that be regulated somehow within the stock market, or is it just it's a fair game, it's free for all?
Well, I know. Well, all right. So I used to participate in an app that you can purchase shares in called Robinhood, and this was like 4 years ago.
The inflation.
You know they still around, right?
Yeah.
They robbing for somebody else now.
But yeah, they put out a statement in response to this that they are like regulated by the government or something. Don't quote me on this, but yeah, because the volatility just got to a certain point where they had to shut things down. and they put out a statement, and they were like, we don't support hedge funds and all of this, but we're not trying to say we support hedge funds and whatnot, but we do need to shut this down right quick and limit the amount of shares y'all can purchase.
The thing with that, though, is that they're backed by a hedge fund or by a corporation that supports a hedge fund. Let me say that. Okay. So hedge fund money comes into them, and I found this out recently. Why Robinhood's free? It's free because they sell the trading information of people on the app to hedge funds. So however you're trading, they're selling that to the hedge funds, so the hedge funds know what you're doing, and then the hedge funds can make their bets, essentially.
Data is a bitch.
So again, should there be no regulation whatsoever for the stock market? Everything's fair game?
So, I think that's a different state. That's a different question than like, should you regulate the fact that it's speculative? I don't think you should regulate the fact that it's speculative. Because again, like, it's not an equity investment. Like, you're not like buying 5% of the company valued at X. It's like you're buying 5%. You're not even buying 5%. You buying a stock a share of the available shares that are valued at whatever people are willing to buy them at.
Right.
So like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, nah, I don't think that's necessarily that should be regulated, because I mean, right now it's, investing in stocks is effectively gambling to some extent. Either way, you're making a bet. You're making a bet that the value of your company now, or at least the value of your company's stock, let me say that, will increase for me to like not just like maintain the money I put in, but like result in me getting more money off of the money I put in. And it's a bet. It's a bet. You don't really know. There's no guarantee. So I don't necessarily think that should be controlled per se. Even on like short selling, I don't even know if that should necessarily be controlled. Cause like, yeah, I think I'm kind of okay with it. I definitely think like the way Robinhood reacted in terms of like limiting trades just because they wanted to. I think that type of thing, I'm pretty sure it's illegal. Because that would be like,
yeah, they said they were following some type of regulation.
Yeah, they said
I saw that. I saw that Cuomo interview, and they failed to actually say who or what department. They failed to reference a document stating that they had to do that from any legal securities entity. They've never done that. And and even in like the interview with Cuomo, like he was making it clear. He was like, "Who told you to do that? Like where point to the entity that told you to do that? Where's the law saying that? Oh, if I'm acting as a brokerage or exchange or go-between, I can at my own leisure decide that I will no longer allow trades for a specific option. When that's direct market manipulation. Direct market manipulation, especially when you look at the fact that like the majority of Robinhood's traders are like retail investors, so it is not firms. So I'm like, that's literally direct market manipulation. If you're explicitly limiting the ability of trades for a specific group, like that's direct market manipulation. Because you literally stopped a group of people's ability to participate in the market for that specific company. So I'm like, y'all should definitely, I mean, they already are facing a lawsuit for it, but the SEC should definitely be on them. That definitely wasn't legal. That wasn't valid.
KDot, final thoughts?
I mean, I just think the market is very interesting because it's I think when you touched upon this earlier, like it's built on, fear and confidence in how a certain company will perform, and it's just been so crazy. Like especially 2020, just witnessing how it performed in response to COVID. Because even in a pandemic, Yeah,
Yeah.
even in the pandemic, it might have dipped a little bit, but it shot back up.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say there's no rules. It doesn't follow anything.
Yeah. I mean, and like part of that reason again is not because like, oh, like well, some companies, they revenue really did skyrocket. Like they jumped went crazy. But a large portion of that was people was like, oh, it's that time around when the stocks is dipping. I'm gonna buy them back, and that's what resulted in the stock market bouncing back. Not because the actual companies changed, but because people said it's low. That's my time to get it while it's low, so I can have a higher return. That's it. Which further emphasizes my point of like, literally, is how much are you willing to pay for it? That's the largest determining factor.
Oh, for 1 second, but I wanted to go back. I wanted to go back to STEMI 1 second. So I don't know if y'all know about this, but Mitt Romney is proposing a plan to be included in that package that will result in families of one. It's like a family plan. They've been trying to. Apparently, they did this back in like way back, and they just left it alone, and they're trying to readopt it or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to provide $350 a month to families with a child, and I guess it goes up by $350 per child. And it
The
was
Republicans want to do that?
yes, bruh. Yes.
Well, I
It's
think
some
I think
bipartisan
you
shit.
said I think you
I
said
don't know.
I think you said Romney.
Yeah, Romney.
Well, let's not say all the Republicans want to do that. Let's not.
We're going to have
Let's
to
not-
look into
right,
that.
let's not-
We got maybe talk about that next week or week
Yeah,
after.
let's
We
not
gotta
give
look
them
into that.
credit they haven't earned.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Yeah, let's
Apparently,
some
someone else, some other Republican adopted was trying to bring it up, but it didn't get anywhere. Unsurprisingly.
So I mean, I
Mitt
know.
Romney's
Oh, was it part of the Votorama thing when they were doing amendments on the power sharing agreement?
Yeah,
Was it
during
part of that?
I'm not sure about that.
If it was part of that, it was just for show. If it was separate from that, then it might have been something.
Yeah, I mean, I know actually part of that 1.9 billion plan we didn't touch on was that like there is like additional assistance specifically for like families with children and stuff like that. And there's like substantial assistance for them.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
forgot about that.
A lot
Yeah.
changed. A lot changed.
Fun fact:
Yeah.
Canada pays you every month for every child you have, like $500, something like that.
Was you trying to recruit, bro?
I ain't saying nothing about nothing. I'm just comparing two countries that are neighbors
Yeah, just like we
and the way that they do things.
just
Trump's
like
like the
how
black
One
Canadians
gives
Coalition.
$500 or so per kid per month.
the Black Canadians
The other one,
Coalition.
not so much. The Black Canadians Coalition. I'm sure there is one. I'm sure it exists somewhere. But yes, on the topic of rich people who are part of the market, Jeff Bezos has decided to retire, but not really, from controlling Amazon. KDot.
I'm gonna let
going on here,
Politech take it. I'm gonna let Politech take this one on. I know he's a Bezos guy.
don't ever say that. Don't say I'm a Bezos guy. Nah.
Well, I
Nah, but I don't think it's a big deal, to be honest. Like, Amazon, their whole thing is like everything is automated. They known for like egregiously, villainously automating their processes. And removing as much human input out of their system as possible, unless it's quote unquote from the customer. So yeah, I don't think it changes much. I mean, I think what they said was he like moved to become like an executive on the board. So plus like I also saw stuff like in the earlier last year about him wanting to shifting his money to like Blue Ocean, his space
Yep.
his space startup that he's doing. So I'm like, that's probably what he's kind of like, why he's trying to take a step out of the day-to-day activity of Amazon. Yeah, so I'm not really, Amazon ain't gonna get no less egregious because of that. Nothing's really gonna change fundamentally for Amazon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I know SpaceX is launching next week. I thought this was some type of, not a stunt, but like response to that. Where like,
what are they launching?
Saying, I need to get more serious about this. They're launching Starlink.
Oh,
that was this week, and next week they're launching something too. So they're not playing no games. So Blue Origin, they need to get on. Bezos, because I think
Blue
he owns
Origin.
majority of that.
I definitely thought it was Blue Ocean.
Blue Origin.
Okay.
Blue Origin.
Yeah,
that's
essentially a SpaceX.
Company.
It's essentially a SpaceX.
Yeah, the Amazon version of SpaceX. Could you imagine, bro? Could you imagine taking a flight and them being like, "Hey, we saw you on this flight. You want think you want to buy this?" like literally, could you imagine?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have much to say on Bezos. The man is rich, and he exploits everything in America to get richer.
Yeah. Also, we also probably shouldn't leave out. They facing that. I don't even know if they're facing a lawsuit for it, but basically, it came out that they were stealing, the drivers' wages. Like the driver's tips.
Oh wow!
Amazon's, they were stealing.
Wow!
They were stealing tips. It's like $61 million in tips they were stealing. So when you would tip them, they was like the money they never sent the money to the drivers. So I know they faced that for Amazon.
Amazon, like the shipping couriers.
No, the drivers, the Amazon drivers.
Yeah, so there's like some Amazon driving service or whatever, and they were stealing tips. Amazon was stealing tips from them. So like, imagine you like tip somebody and you just made it look like you was giving it to the driver and you never made it to them.
Well, I know what's hot in DC. Well, not what's hot, but like in the DC area, I'm sure this is going on in other urban areas. But like, Amazon has like their own shipping courier, right? Which is crazy, like a competitor for FedEx and UPS, and So they've been getting like their vehicles jacked in DC a lot lately. Yeah.
Oh.
Like a lot. Like it's been an actual thing in DC and PG. Yeah, it's been crazy.
Wow. I mean, people out here struggling. So like, if the most they doing is jacking that, I ain't too pressed. Like people out here, some people start struggling. People do some
I don't know the press. I don't want to happen to the drivers. They did not sign up to get robbed.
I thought.
True.
Hold on. No. I thought it was like
man gonna lose his life for doing his job.
Hold on. No. I thought it was like because the ones I had seen like earlier, like even was like the driver would leave their vehicle and somebody just ran up and
they leave them on. Yeah,
they
leave them on and they go deliver something and somebody jacked their car.
That's what I thought was going on.
Yeah, I know because because you have like a certain time to deliver all of your packages.
Yeah.
Or with the Amazon delivery driver, so that's probably why.
Yeah.
If they have to turn their car off and deliver it and turn it back on, that's wasted time.
Exactly. Yeah. Amazon literally tracks you by the minute. I mean, they're notorious for that.
Thanks.
Speaking of notorious people, KDot, you brought up pardons, although we're a little bit late on this by a couple of weeks. Pardons by Donald Trump. So we're going to talk about some interesting ones that pertain to black people. We have Kodak Black and Lil Wayne pardoned by Donald Trump. Kodak Black now saying, Donald Trump, that's my man. And Lil Wayne having advocated prior for Donald Trump's pardon. Now, you were talking earlier about the ethics behind pardons. That they shouldn't even be allowed.
Right. I mean, look, I'm against prisons, so I guess I should say that first and foremost. So I'm not necessarily against the idea of it, but I guess I'm against how it's been used, like for Trump to bail out Kodak Black and Lil Wayne. Like, it's not people like he didn't execute, well, not execute, but he didn't have hella people on death row during his tenure as president. Like, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but before him, there was like some time before someone had got in an electric chair or with the needle or not.
Yeah, it was the first execution in a couple decades, I think.
Like, damn. And you going like Kodak, don't get me wrong, I think everyone should be out of prison. You know, I think there should be a different system. But you know, Kodak Black and Lil Wayne, like, it ain't really people that did nothing.
Yeah.
Like, that was
but I mean,
that was some Melania Trump, or who was helping them with that shit? The Kardashians, yeah.
Kim Kardashian. She advocated for people to get out of prison. I mean, I think it's part and parcel what we see in the American political system. You ask for a political favor. If you can provide something, you get it. In that case, with Donald Trump, I'm sure the political favor in this case is some getting good with the
black
blacks.
people, because he gonna run for re-election.
Yeah,
I mean,
unless he's let's see, try to get him out. What's the name?
Honestly though,
are they still trying to?
What happened?
Yeah, they're still working on the impeachment and we'll see how that
the
goes.
impeachment is dead. Yeah, I know that.
No, he's already been impeached. It's the conviction part that they're
the conviction, because if he
so they had that vote in the Senate, that vote to determine whether or not they was even going to have a vote or like discussion about it, and the Republicans dubbed it. Yeah. So that ain't even like an option no more. There's only like,
because they know Trump can bring their whole fucking their whole fantasies go away.
I mean, I don't even know if they scared.
Oh no, they're scared.
They're scared, bro. Did you not see how he exited? He was like, "I'm taking all y'all down with me." No, think about it like this. You tell me, not even another Republican, another politician that could rally up 1,000 people to come and storm the Capitol during a session of Congress. You tell me one other politician that could do that.
You know what? They probably are scared.
Tell me one. He's the only one that could do something like that.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And then be like, nah, don't do this no more, and they still do it.
He's the only guy that could do something like that. So I can imagine you not wanting to cross him, especially if you're in the same party and you're trying to get the same folks. BP, you added this to the agenda. Canada lists Proud Boys as a terrorist organization before the United States of America.
Yep.
Wow. Didn't know that.
At me about it.
Yep. But I mean, I guess it's par for the course, because you know the founder used to be an FBI informant, so of course he got a pass.
You know, the founder is not even white, bro.
Yeah, Hispanic dude.
He's like Hispanic or something.
Yeah, Hispanic dude. Yeah. Honestly though, I could see it.
But Miami, he from Miami or something, Florida.
Yeah.
He's also an FBI informant.
Yeah. Formerly, quote
informant. Oh gosh.
Not
an agent.
Former FBI informant.
Not an agent, an informant.
Yeah. So
taking down Black Panthers.
I mean, it's par for the course. You know, the FBI literally locked up. I think they locked up their first person under the guise of that they were a black identity extremist last year, I think. This black dude that had like some pro black gun ownership organization. I'm not super familiar with it. I think Vice did like a documentary on him, but literally, I'm like, they locked him up before the Proud Boys. Literally before the Proud Boys. Before they would even list that black dude was listed as a black identity extremist terrorist before the Proud Boys were. I'm like,
did Trump list Antifa?
Well, Trump doesn't have that power. He can't designate a terrorist organization.
Did he? The current FBI director, didn't Trump appoint him though?
Yeah, but they didn't designate Antifa as a terrorist.
Because I was gonna say, honestly, if Trump appointed him,
because
he'd do it.
It's not an organization. That's the other thing. Antifa doesn't exist, more or less. It's not It's not like an organized organization like the Proud Boys are, or like the Ku Klux Klan.
I will say, I mean, black identity extremists aren't really a real group of people, but like.
Well, look, we know why they did that.
So I'm like, I will say, I won't put the guys that like, because there was some real, just logical reasoning. I'm like, I could very much.
Yeah. No, you're right. There's probably a mix of faux reasoning and real reasoning in there to come up with a decision.
Yeah, I could have easily saw Trump had the dude he appointed like, yo, put them up there, and him doing it to placate him.
I think when it comes to terrorist organizations in the United States, one of the biggest issues that we have in general is how we designate them. Because we have endless designations for foreign terrorist organizations, but we don't have that same type of robust legislation for domestic terrorist organizations. So when you get down and you look at the federal level, even the local level, there isn't a definition for a domestic terrorist organization. You can't find one. You can find the FBI's definition for a domestic terrorist organization, but theirs is different from the Treasury's definition of a terrorist organization, whose is different from the CIA's definition, who might be different from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation's definition of a terrorist organization. So, and then, okay, well, the FBI may designate them as a terrorist organization, but maybe Texas doesn't. So then what? Damn. If you're prosecuted under Texas law, you aren't, and let's say you've done terrorist actions, you wouldn't be prosecuted under their terrorist statute because they may not have one. A lot of counties and states don't have a terrorist statute, which is why you saw what happened in El Paso. Why that guy wasn't charged with any type of terrorist action on top of the things that he had done, because they don't have a statute for it. In that county in Texas, it doesn't exist, and there's also not necessarily a federal statute for it. There are a lot of thresholds you have to meet to get, for instance, what is it? To have like a racially motivated charge on your or on your charges, to have something associated with race or to have something associated with a political ideology. You got to meet a lot of thresholds to get that on the federal side. And even then, they might not have something specifically for a lone actor. And even when you get to the organizations, well, the Proud Boys is an interesting case, because in some parts of the country, the Proud Boys are not terrorizing people. In other parts of the country, they are. So then, or they could be designated in this state as a terrorist organization, but not in this state. They could be designated in this county, but not in that county. And they could be designated on a federal level, but it might not affect California's law, who may not designate them as a terrorist organization if they do or break state or local law. Gotcha. So you get the separation of, not separation of powers, but the, the big government ideology. It doesn't apply a lot of times when it comes to criminal acts, and you can separate the types of terrorist organizations, things that we would consider terrorist organizations, from what's considered legally a terrorist organization, or what can be charged as a terrorist organization. And all of that really would come down to people legislating those laws. But they also have to do research and come up with a real definition. We don't even have a universal definition of terrorism in the government. There's not one. Doesn't exist. We have some generally accepted notions for terrorism, but again, FBI's definition of terrorism is different from CIA's, different from ATF's, different from the Georgia Bureau, different from the North Carolina Bureau, different from DC's. Any agency in DC has a different definition of terrorism. There's no universal definition. They don't even know where the money goes for terrorism, because we haven't defined it rigorously in our codified law.
And what y'all forgot What y'all ain't know was that TJak also, got his master's in Homeland Security. So
That's man just gave us a lecture. God damn.
That's why he coming so correct with it.
Look, I like to have my facts. All right. What an interesting paper. But yeah. So, all right. Well, let's switch into something kind of funny. Lil Uzi Vert puts a pink diamond surgically implanted into the middle of his forehead.
I thought it was a sticker, bro.
No, it is surgically implanted into his head. $30,000? Some outrageous number.
They said,
it's a real diamond?
It's a $24 million diamond.
Oh no, I'm sorry, $24 million diamond. I was talking about the procedure. Yeah, so surgically implanted in his head. He is officially Vision from the MCU.
They got a new show coming
out. As all the memes have told us.
They got a new show coming out.
It already came out. It's the
it already came out. WandaVision.
Yeah.
So, what's going on, guys? Fashion statement or rich people doing rich people shit?
It's Lil Uzi, so it's probably both. To be honest, it's both.
Yeah. There's some weird rappers out there.
Yeah, I see. The first dude I saw do it was the one dude. I think it's from the South. Get it on the side of his face, and then I guess Uzi was inspired. That was a couple months ago. Yeah. And he was like, "Oh, I'm the first."
Is this the new trend?
Yeah, but his was
is this the new thing?
Yeah,
is this the new grills?
His was he got it as almost like a teardrop. He got right here.
A stone,
and it was
wow.
And it was I think he said it was $1 million or $2 million, and I guess Uzi was like, "Nah, I'm about to one up these niggas."
So no chains, no diamond rings on the fingers. No,
they already had all that.
Plies buried his grill, so that's gone.
They already had all that.
So no earrings. We ain't got the Soldier Boy earrings no more. It's over.
Nah, Uzi already had all that.
No Ray-Bans. No Ray-Bans. We got surgically implanted diamonds.
Yeah. I just Googled a picture.
Now my question is, the kids...
24 mil. Damn.
What's the kids gonna do? Are the kids gonna start trying to put diamonds in their skin or super?
That's the next thing.
You know the thing that made me uncomfortable about it is it just looks so easy for that to just be ripped off.
Yeah, facts. But it can't be. I know you remember. I know you remember the Marvel movie. Right? That shit.
Boy, this ain't the Vision. This ain't Vision.
It's in there. It's in there.
Because Thanos
That's the stone, the yellow stone, bro.
Thanos definitely took it off, so it clearly can be taken.
Man said it is in there and it's not coming out.
Nah, that looked like I could just be like, "Come here." Imagine you get into a fight, somebody just hit you in your joint.
If you're thinking about it, you can't put it too deep. I'm sure, I'm gonna hope right now that they didn't crack his skull and put it in there to fill the hole in his skull. I'm gonna hope that it's just beneath the skin.
Exactly, and if it's just beneath the skin,
and not like
I could literally rip that off with just put my fingers on it. Just.
It's gonna hurt.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt the person. But in terms of me, if I ran up on you, it's like come on, that's all I would think about.
Who's running up on Lil Uzi? My man, he don't got no enemy.
He got $24 million in his head, bro.
Exactly. That's how I got.
Somebody,
Then again, JT do be knocking that man around. She might pull it out.
That sounds like a lick to me. That's literally when they had the term walk and lick. That's what they meant.
And he always gonna have it too.
That's what they meant when they said walk and lick.
You say you always gonna have it.
Don't get nobody ideas, BP.
I ain't.
Please don't get nobody ideas.
I ain't saying nothing in the streets. They already.
You didn't hear this on this podcast. No one told you to rob Lil Uzi Vert because he's walking around with $24 million in bed.
No facts. Uzi is he cool. I rock with Uzi, but nah.
I'm sure if you ask him,
he gonna do him. He gonna do him, bro.
Nah, facts. Uzi always gonna do him.
It's his third day out here. You don't know.
I just hope it don't get caught on nothing and accidentally get torn out his face. Is that That would be a nasty image.
Oh my god! I wonder if he can.
I hope he don't go to jail. Like if he go to jail, they probably gotta take that shit out.
Yeah, they probably would. Honestly,
oh yeah, no, they're gonna make him take that.
Yeah,
out.
They would.
Coming out.
He would take that out. Yeah.
Oh,
That wouldn't even be an option.
Imagine if you get in a fight and you headbutt somebody. Bro, it's over.
Yo, he would probably crack his and the other person's skull. Like you would literally crack your and the other person's skull. 'Cause at the end of the day, like it's still that diamond is harder than your skull and the other person. So,
hey, diamond is unbreakable, bro.
So
it's carbon, man.
Both of y'all gonna be messed up.
What they say in JoJo's, diamond is unbreakable.
Yeah.
Oh man, wow.
That's funny,
oh man. Oh wait, imagine he's like trying to kiss somebody and like a diamond just hits him first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, no, there's so many funny scenarios that can happen with that.
Thanks.
I hope you don't run into the wall. That's
On the other side, I feel like it's been a minute since Uzi came out with some music.
That's what I'm saying.
He just dropped. What you talking about?
What you talking about?
He dropped the album last year.
That was a minute ago.
Yeah,
It was last year.
Like last year, like December or like last year,
you're
January.
right. Honestly though, but I don't really count.
He just dropped the joint. What you talking about?
Really
That don't count.
Really count.
Oh my god.
We was waiting on that for like 3 years. That don't even count.
And it was fire. What?
Nah, it was valid.
That thing
It
was
valid.
fire.
I give you that. It was valid.
He just an interesting dude, man. Like he just.
I think the only problem with the diamond is that it is a walking liability.
Literally.
And
could you imagine how much
Other
the
than
insurance
that-
on that gotta be?
yes. Oh my god. Other than that, I'm like, hey, do you? If you want to put a diamond in your forehead, you can put a diamond in your forehead.
Yo, the insurance
hold up,
is
though.
probably like
Is he a millionaire?
home. But yeah,
Right,
bro. If he bought a $24 million,
Does he have 23
diamond,
million just to spend on a stone though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit on layaway.
I mean-
That shit on layaway.
Nah.
It's on layaway, bro.
Ooh, you probably right. You right. It is.
He got a loan
You
on
right.
that shit.
I didn't
You
know
right.
he had that much.
You right.
No, ooh. Just Googled it. Lil Uzi Vert's net worth is around 16 million.
Yeah, that's on layaway. You right. You right.
So his insurance, he probably paying.
So did he
He's
steal it?
probably
Like,
paying
what
a
happened?
very high deductible on that.
Yeah.
If his deductible on that is probably like 10 million.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, he probably.
That's crazy.
I mean, his insurance is probably like a home, like the price of a home every year.
Yeah.
That's really like an
Yeah,
infinity
no.
stone. Like,
I think.
you gotta
I feel,
protect that shit.
It costs the same price as one. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. If Uzi come out next Halloween as Vision, I'm gonna fucking lose it.
honestly, come on.
Somebody will
He
pay
is.
If he does
He
Vision,
is. He is.
if he does Vision, I'm gonna lose
He is.
it.
And WandaVision out right now. He's being Vision. This is what I'm talking about. He's gonna be Vision.
He gonna do it, bro. He kind of got Vision face too. You know, when you look at it.
Yeah, he
got that.
being Vision.
Well, we also had this other trend going around, which is making a video using the TikTok videos of this gymnast, this woman gymnast, who
Black woman gymnast.
has muscles like. No, she's not black.
She's not.
No.
Oh! You're not talking about the one who did the floor routine. You talking about the Hispanic?
No,
looking-
yeah. No, I was talking about the TikTok.
Okay,
one.
yeah, I got you.
Yeah, most gymnasts are pretty much all muscle, and she looks more muscular, I guess, than some other gymnasts people have seen. And so lots of people are making, these meme videos of her, like, movements, knocking them into stuff and taking stuff from them, and people getting intimidated and wanting to work out after seeing this woman with muscles. BP, I know you had some feelings about that.
I mean, I don't got no real feelings, but I just always feel like, because I've definitely heard like some dudes who are like, oh, like I don't want no girl with muscles, or like I don't want no girl with abs, and I'm just like, honestly, like I ain't never known nobody that was fit that was against women being fit, like in any capacity. Like I don't know anybody that was really an athlete that was like, oh nah, I can't do no muscular woman, or nah, she can't have no abs, or she can't be strong. I'm like, I don't know nobody that actually trains for anything that is on that type of time.
Yeah.
Like the only
Because
yeah.
the reason it's funny. I mean, and for me, like the first three were funny, and then like the rest of them is like, all right, the jokes.
That's the thing. Like I ain't even
But-
like none of them made me laugh for real. Like it was just like you dragging it.
And the reason it's funny is because it's funny for women to be strong. That's the pervading commentary there. It's funny for her to look strong or to have muscles, essentially. Which I guess biologically it's... I mean, but if you can do it, it's still biologically possible, so it doesn't make any sense. And those people who would even claim that don't do a lot of research. I don't know. I found it... That, like, after the first three, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, people is people. So at the end of the day, like, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, if they're not used to seeing it, it's novel. And, like, novel things have people responding. You know, some people fetishize what they consider novel. Some people are afraid of what they consider novel. Some people are like, I don't know. Ooh, look at this. Like, they're in awe. So, like, I mean, people, at the end of the day, people doing regular people stuff, but... I know for me, like, I definitely seen dudes that's like, yo, like, oh, girls can't be strong, or she can't be stronger than me. And I'm just like, to me, I'm just like, you just sound like you weak and you insecure about it.
Right, yeah, you insecure, you sexist, body shaming. Like, nah, let's not do that.
Yeah.
Let's not do that.
But and then again, though, those probably the same
podcast.
people who, like, will feel some type of way if their girl was smarter than them. So.
Yeah, now I wonder how interesting, or at least if there would be the same reaction if there was a TikTok video of a girl, I don't know, reciting off the digits of pi or something, and then guys feeling intimidated as like the response videos to it or whatever. Like, dang, you gotta say all that. If you ain't like me, that's all you had to say, or like, whatever it was. Making the joke about girls being smart, being out of the ordinary in that case.
I could see that. I definitely could see that, especially if it's like, if she's like in the tech space doing that. Like they all, it's definitely like that. You see a lot of like tech bro type stuff where they like act like the women in tech aren't as good as them, or like are less. It'll be crazy that she's a better programmer than you. Like, that'd really be crazy to some girls. So. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
Have you seen a lot of that or both of you guys, I guess, have you seen a lot of that in your respective fields?
I was about to say, at least from my experience, there are not that many women, period, in the engineering field.
Mm-hmm. KDot is an engineer.
I work with 2 women. That's all. Out of like 15 men on my team.
Yeah, I mean, I work with one in terms of like our like product development team, but
Black Politech is doing tech, data analytics, all types of stuff. He's a jack of all trades when it comes to tech, essentially.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I mean, I haven't like firsthand. Well, yeah, I would say like not like directly in my life, but more so like I've been adjacent to like the other women in tech who are like talking about their experiences, and just talking about how like sometimes like it be to the point where like they be ignored in like meetings when they give input about like solutions to problems. They the last to be promoted to like tech lead and all those type of positions. The standard misogynist stuff is just like this arena is tech now. Like, yeah, literally all the standard stuff. I mean, there's literally like something recently about the game developers who worked for Amazon and how like they were so overtly misogynist that it was like, they literally was like ignoring the women in meetings, the women who were game developers. And then one of the women like basically spoke out about it. And a dude who was like the head of their game division, some white guy, literally like created 2 new positions over her and like filled it with white dudes just to be petty. So it's just as egregious.
I wonder
as any other. I
wonder where that comes from, like, or like what's like the underlying, I guess, trope there is, because tech in general is relatively new, especially the ways that we're doing it now. And
the people aren't.
There aren't any inherent advantages that men have over women. It's not like it's not like a mathematics thing in a lot of cases. It's a skill thing. You learn how to do the thing and then you do it. I can't see where they're coming from,
bro.
With the misogyny,
exactly
with the root
where they coming from. Because again, like, people is people. It doesn't matter the domain. People are gonna respond and do what people do. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter that the field is new. The people are old. People just doing old stuff in a new environment with a new theme, with a new coat of paint. Like, it's literally the same thing. Facts. I mean, even if we tie it to like racism in the country, like, literally before they could be racist against blacks, they was racist against the German settlers. And there's racist against the Irish settlers. And then once they all said, oh, nah, we all white, now we racist against the black people that we brought here. So I'm like, literally, it ain't gonna... It ain't even, they don't even need no reasoning or rationale.
Okay, well, switching gears a little bit, Floyd Mayweather to box 50 Cent.
Yeah.
50 gonna get his ass.
These guys even need to be boxing.
Yo, that's gonna be funny.
50
that's
better
gonna
had
be
a
funny.
strap.
That's gonna be funny. Cause I'm like,
50 better had a strap.
I mean, 50 definitely way bigger than him. So like, 50, 50, Floyd ain't knocking 50 out just because of physics. But on the same time, like, 50 ain't doing nothing to Floyd. 50 ain't doing nothing to Floyd. I'm like, his hands is not
50
like
not
that.
touching Floyd.
50 is not doing nothing to Floyd. I give him the first 2 rounds. He gonna get winded. Floyd's gonna be tapping him the whole rest of the fight to the point the ref is like,
he's gonna have to be 2 50s in the ring, bro. He's gonna have to be
for real. One to hold him, one to throw the punches.
I mean, but wait a minute. We saw that the match between Mike Tyson and I can't remember his name right now. But those guys were really tired pretty much the whole match. A lot of
Tyson didn't seem tired at all.
He was trying to put him out in the first round, but after a couple of rounds, he was tired too.
Yeah, I mean,
and they was doing a lot of hugging.
Years.
So I'm saying these guys. I mean, well, the other guy was only 5 years out from boxing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I feel bad that I don't remember his name because he's actually a legend.
Yeah, they fought before.
But I'm saying Floyd ain't been boxing for a minute either. So is he gonna be sluggish?
I mean, you compare
and getting tired. Kind of. He's kind of cheap.
You comparing Floyd to Tyson, who in his 50s. That's not even the same.
Floyd, how old is Floyd?
That's not even the same.
Floyd is like 45.
That's not even the same.
How old is Floyd? Let me. Oh, he's 43.
Yeah, that's not even close.
Well, wait. God, wait. Give me a sec.
That's a lot of physical, body breaking down.
Roy Jones Jr. That's what it was.
Not to mention,
it was Roy Jones
Jr. What you was just talking about was 2 professional fighters who made their life and living off professionally fighting, and now we're talking about 1 professional fighter and a rapper. Come on now.
In 2 different weight classes.
Come on now.
I mean, well, we saw what happened when a non-professional boxer boxed an NBA player. He beat
the NBA player was not a fighter. There's no relationship.
A YouTube fighter versus.
Hey. He's an athlete, man.
And comparatively, that YouTuber actually was training for like a year. And had professional training.
That is also true.
So,
but he's an athlete, man.
Nah, he ain't no fighter.
You should be able to put him out.
He ain't no fighter.
Tyson and Floyd gonna fuck 50 up.
Yeah.
But 50
so what you're saying about clips. 50 is he's just a rapper.
It's clips. I ain't saying he's just a rapper. I'm saying he's not a professional fighter. And he will be handled like a non-professional fighter.
But 50's been in these streets. He got shot 9 times.
That's what I'm saying. He better have a shot.
He can't handle a couple punches from Floyd.
And them shots hit you quick. Them shots hit you quick and put you out quick. Them punches, you gonna have to fight through that.
It's kind of like Floyd quick. Floyd be throwing the bullets.
Telling you, 50 gonna be gassed. 50 gonna be gassed. he gonna get tired. He not gonna have his hands up no more because he gonna get too hard.
It's gonna be get rich or die trying for real.
So how about this? I feel like 50 is going to. I think 50 Cent, when he does something, he does it 100%, even though his name is 50 Cent. And I believe that 50 will train from the day they sign the deal to do the boxing match until the day they do it. And when he gets in that ring, it's going to come out.
Let me put it like this.
I am betting on a draw.
You remember when Conor McGregor and Floyd fought, right?
Yes.
And you know how Conor McGregor is an MMA fighter, right?
Yeah.
And so Conor McGregor was also winded against fighting Floyd, and he was a professional fighter. Conor McGregor, like halfway through the fight.
I mean,
halfway through the fight, like up to round 6. After that, Conor McGregor was gassed. He was tired the whole other 6 rounds, and he was a professional fighter. He was already in shape. He was already conditioned.
I believe in 50 Cent.
Listen, 50 Cent is not doing that. He's not getting that commission in a year, bro. It's not happening.
Power. He gonna need ghosts with him.
And he's gonna channel his inner ghost.
And his size.
He gonna need to be turned into K9.
It's over. It's over for 50. He ain't even. I mean, I think 50 a clown, so he gonna spin it and make it funny. But 50 gonna get washed. 50 gonna get washed. The best coming for 50 is that the whole time in the corner they have him drinking his vitamin water. That's the best coming.
His vodka.
Yo, I ain't had no vitamin water.
He gonna need that vodka.
Yeah, well, 50 that'll be an embarrassment to him.
Vitamin water.
He get some money though.
Well, KDot, you said you wanted to talk about everyone's favorite genius, the real K, Kanye, the lyrical, musical, and I guess political genius.
Right. Yeah. Like what's going on with Kanye, man? I know you were listening to him earlier. I've been hearing a whole bunch of shit regarding his marriage or divorce.
Whoa! All right, wait. So we're not confused here. But can you hear me? So I let it be known. You listening to him earlier. I was listening to Graduation. Graduation. Okay. I've not listened to anything since his decline. All right, I'm gonna let that be known. Listen to Graduation. Good morning. All right. Good life. The life I lived. I thought that I was going to go crazy. My grandma and the only girl calling me baby. All right. Now.
Yeah, no question. The old thing.
All right, go.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Kanye, he's saying he's reportedly done with Kim Kardashian. He's ready for the divorce. I'm just like, damn, we done seen it all tumble down.
Yeah, we've seen everything from beginning to end, and it's interesting because I'm a man who was here for black men and black women having good, strong, powerful relationships, and I'm not gonna hold you. I kind of want Kanye to keep it to himself. I don't want him to drag a black woman down with him. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know he's leaving Kim K, and people are like, oh, well, you can get with a black woman. I want him to keep it to himself. He's done enough.
Facts.
For me.
I'm
Don't drag nobody else down.
I'm like, please. Don't be stupid enough to get with Kanye.
They weren't doing as good as LeBron James. And y'all know we was going to bring it up. We don't got too much information, but we got a little bit about it. T.I. and Tiny accused of drugging girls, raping girls, holding women against their will who wanted to leave whatever situations they were in. And T.I.'s response was, whatever me and my wife did was consensual.
He must not know.
That is the Bill Cosby defense. I just want everybody to know, and we know where Bill Cosby is today.
Yep. That sounds one court case away from guilty. But that's
Yeah,
just
he needs a lawyer.
Because at that point, you've admitted that the actions occurred,
Right, he needs a
and
lawyer.
your defense
man.
is that they were consensual. At this point, you might as well start figuring out how you're going to video conference your kids from jail.
Bruh, and that's this whole situation is a shame, bruh. But especially, I'm especially disappointed on T.I.'s behalf because, bruh, like T.I., bruh, like to me, like T.I. is someone that I looked up to as far as, you know, when it came to music, because he wasn't just a rapper that was talking about, you know.
Yeah, you put a lot of other people on, and
Yeah.
you did a lot of influential things in the music industry. I'll agree.
Yes.
It's crazy because I actually
in his music.
I actually got to meet T.I. one time when I was younger.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And it's funny because it was really some random. It
Show
was
off.
random. Like we didn't have no full convo and that. We just dapped each other up. But it was like after this event he did in Atlanta, and it was supposed to be like, you know, some event for the kids, like a go back to school drive. So they gave us book bags and all that.
Yeah, he does those
But-
annually.
Yeah. So when I had left, they was like, you know, all right, y'all, like y'all gotta go. Like, you know, it's over. Da 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 da. And everybody's like, nah, like I want to get with T.I. Da da da. So I'm the only person who listened. I'm like, they say we gotta go, so I'm out. And then so like I'm out here just chilling. Only person who actually left the building. Meanwhile, T.I. and his security walked out. So I just seen him. I walked up to him, so it was good. Dapped him up, da 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 da, and kept it pushing. Like that's it. Yeah.
But this is someone like in my phone right now. I have damn near all of his albums on Apple Music, bro. Like this is someone I can listen to some music right now. I can pull up. Don't matter what mood I'm in. If I'm feeling down, I can pull up a song that he's talking about some shit that I can relate to, bro. And it's just like, damn. You know, and all the trouble that he got into with the law back in the day, and how, you know, how we, at least to the public, how it seemed like, you know, he was on a better path and wanted to give back more and was trying to be a better man. And damn.
Yeah, I definitely didn't agree with everything that he did or said, but I ultimately felt like he was at least doing good things for his community at the very least, and for the people around him. Right. And you know, to find out that he's got these allegations against him, you know, it puts everything in a different light. Like now, you know, at first with the like the comments he made about like his daughter and checking her hymen to make sure she's not having sex. At first, to me, that just sounded like, you know, overprotective, overly invasive parent, you know, and it's like, yeah, you shouldn't be doing that. But now the connotation is totally shifted because of these allegations against him. So now it's like, whoa, wait, maybe we shouldn't. Maybe there's more to that. Maybe you were doing other things other than sending her to a doctor to have her hymen or whatever check. Maybe you were doing some really, really crazy things behind the scenes that we don't even know about because these crazy ass things were happening too. And so now it's no longer the invasive parent. Now it's like, are you the dangerous parent? Are you the abusive parent? Which some might say that having her hymen checked is a form of abuse.
Yeah, I would say it's abuse. It's like it's definitely like a psychological type of abuse.
Yeah. So, no, it definitely colors everything in a different light, and you know, especially if you're a person like you who musically at least looked up to him. What do you do from now on?
What do you do from now on, bro?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I kind of go like me. The way I am with people. I'm real just specific. Like I'll be like, yo, I like how they did this thing. It's never like that's my man's or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, it's at the end of the day, you don't even know these people. To be honest, right. Like it's not like somebody you grew up with. It's not the dude you knew for 20 years. Like it's somebody who you only seen them, other people talking about them, and that's it.
Yeah, right. No, I agree. But on like at least my like how I look up to T.I. was not like it wasn't, you know, like I don't know him at all. Like I don't know a lot of shit about him. But what I do know about him, he puts in his music. Like, he's not just rapping about, like, what people rap about nowadays, you know, with the mumble rap and people just talking about ignorant shit. Like, he's talking about, he has a song about not forgiving himself for three people, his father, his kids, and his girl or something. And with his father, he didn't grow up with the father. He grew up in Atlanta. His father lived in New York. So it was a physical distance from them two. And I think he may have visited a few times, but for the most part, he didn't keep in connection with his father. And he didn't keep in connection for a very long time. And on the song, it's really like a note to his father who was dead. It's basically like, I still love you, even though all that stuff happened between us, and, you know, there was no real father-son connection or relationship. You know, I still love you, even though, you know, we didn't have, he's literally saying we didn't have a chance at being like like, just like what everyone sees a father-son bond to be like, we didn't have a chance at that. Just given the circumstance with me being in Georgia and you being in New York, we didn't have a chance at that. But I still love you.
I still love you.
Like, damn. And with his kids, like,
Man.
with his kids, he didn't tell his family about when he got women pregnant. And, you know, it would go on, and he wouldn't I guess he wouldn't own up to his children. And it got to a certain point where he was just like, you know, I still love you. If you ever thought I didn't love you as a child, I still love you. You know, it's a deep song, bro. It's not like some normal
I mean, I can imagine that.
Yeah.
And,
So it's
and
just
I
like
think you can still, whatever that song, you know, gives you or does for you, you can still take that. But, you know,
Yeah.
as an individual,
right,
his issues are still there or being laid
Right.
bare as we
Yeah.
speak.
right. Yeah, it's crazy, bro. Especially, like, I hate to go off topic. I guess this isn't off topic though, but just like with you know.
I mean, that was our last topic, so unless you wanted to add something
True.
else.
I mean, just briefly, just like with people coming from, you know, our community as Black people, like, it's crazy, you know, for those that come from impoverished communities or communities, you know, that definitely, you know, where people go through things that, you know, the privileged don't go through. You can still make it like T.I. made it with music, but those traits, those tendencies can still underlie you, and you can be your own. You can bring yourself down. You can be your own surmise. Like, yeah, and bruh, in the Tupac biopic, before, because, you know, Tupac caught a rape charge or a sodomy charge or a sexual assault charge. And his mother, but before he went to jail, he said, they will give you everything to bring you down, yourself down. Because Tupac was a rebel, bro. Like, the president, the music he put out impacted so many people's lives, whether negative or positive, that the president says, John F. Kennedy, he said, we shouldn't allow this type of music in our community at all. Like, trying to ban his music.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, that's par for the course for them, though.
He was a living president. Wait, what? JFK? Wait, no,
not
wait,
JFK.
what?
Bill. What's it called?
Bill Clinton.
Yeah, Bill Clinton.
I was about to say JFK. Whoa, JFK was president when my grandmama was little. Tupac ain't that old. All right, this has been the Black House Podcast with your host, TJakks World, my co-host, Black Politech, a.k.a. BP, and my other co-host, KDot. We'll see y'all next time.